Put your phones up. They don't need to be on your desk. They need to be off your desk. All right?
Nope, I had to look for this one.
Somehow, we're not understanding either. I don't know if it's we don't get the quadratic formula, we don't understand how to use the calculator, we don't, there's some part that we're missing, so we're going to try to figure that out today. And maybe I just ain't explaining it good. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. If you look at number 1, it says p squared equals 13 plus p. All right. The first thing we're going to do, our first step, is going to be to put this in standard form. All right. When we put this in standard form, it goes like this. Whatever our leading term is, has a leading coefficient a, and then your variable is x squared. And then it'll be plus or minus your middle coefficient b times the variable x. Plus or minus your last constant equals 0. Yeah, it can be, I mean, it could be, you could be subtracting. But that's standard form. All right, that is standard form of a quadratic. Okay? Right now is the question that we're given in standard form. No, it's not. All right? So, since it's not in standard form, we need to subtract the 13 and subtract the p. When we do, this over here on the right cancels. Everything comes to the left. Correct? We have to subtract it from both sides. When I do that, I need to write it like p squared, because it stays. All right, what goes next?
Negative 13.
Well, no.
Oh, negative p.
Negative p, because we have to put it in standard form. So minus p minus 13, and all that equals 0. That is standard form of our equation that we have. All right, that's the standard form. Okay, now, once we get it in standard form, the second step is going to be to label A, B, and C. If it's in standard form, it's easy. It goes in order, A, B, C. If you have it in standard form. And we're talking about the coefficients, not the variables. What is A in our problem? 1. What is B? What is C? All right. Once we have A, B, and C, the third step is to plug this into the quadratic formula. Plug it into the quadratic formula. All right? When we do that, in our case, our variable is p, so we get p equals the opposite sign of b, which is what? B is negative 1, so opposite of b is positive 1, plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 13, and all of this over 2 times what?
Well, minus 4, like subtract 4 against the 1.
Well, you're doing subtraction, but order of operation tells me I've got to do all this multiplication before I can subtract. All right, the fourth step. Is use your calculator. All right, here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to tell you everything to plug in the calculator. All right, we're going to work what's under the radical first. What is this value called that's under the radical? The discriminant. Okay? We're going to work that first. So on your calculator, here's what we put. The first thing you do is you're going to say, if you want to, parentheses, put a parentheses. Everybody find the parentheses on whatever calculator you have. If you have one that does not have a parentheses, then you need to get a better calculator. Hold on. Let me see this. Look.
I'm sorry.
All right, see the rounded bottom right here? All right, put that right there, let it fit on the rounded part. Look, it ain't just you, I promise. There's about 19 people did it first period. All right. If anybody else has their thing on backwards, it should fit perfectly. If you gotta do this to get it on there, probably not right. Okay? Probably not working right. Alright. So if you've got a calculator, and preferably grab you a graphic calculator. But you don't have to, but if you've got one, that's awesome. In the middle, somewhere, there's going to be a parentheses button. Correct? Can you find it? Hit the parentheses. And then at the bottom, if you've got a graphing calculator, there's a 3 at the bottom. Below the 3 is the negative button. That's not subtraction, but that's the negative button. So hit the negative button. And then put in 1, because that's your first term. And then close the parentheses. Alright, once you close the parentheses on the left-hand side, if you have the graphing calculator, there's a button that says X and it's squared. Everybody see it? On the left, on the far left. If you have that calculator, it may be in the middle somewhere. You see it?
What is it?
X squared. Alright, so that what happens when you push that, it should bring up a squared sign right there. Everybody got it? Alright. Then hit the subtraction button, which is on the right column with the graphing calculator. Hit subtract. And then another parentheses. And that should bring up another parentheses. Right? Everybody got it so far? Okay, and then we're going to hit 4, the multiplication button. 1, the multiplication button. The negative sign again is under the 3, and 13. And then we're going to close the parentheses. When you do that, you're going to hit enter. Tell me what you get. 53. So all this equals 53. Alright, so what does that mean? That means I can rewrite this quadratic formula, and it can say that P equals positive 1 plus or minus the square root of 53 all over 2, because 2 times 1 is 2. Now we're going to see what this square root of 53 equals. So you're going to say, in your calculator, second, there's a button at the top. If you've got the graphic calculator, it's either blue or it's yellow in the top left. It says second. All right, you're going to hit second, and then you're going to hit the x squared button. And that's going to bring up the square root. Let me see.
What's it?
I'll show you that one.
Squared.
Hold on, it may not be x squared on yours. Let me see.
Is it X and
No, yours is already right there.
Square.
Okay, so clear this and hit 53, and then you got to hit it. Because this calculator is different. Grab you a graph calculator. Alright, you're set to find it? Okay. Alright. Is that?
You didn't get us the John crap. Look, you make the rules.
Alright.
Yours is big.
That's the square root. Well, on the graphic calculator, it is the square button. On that one right there, it's the square button. On this one, it has its own button. Alright, now, once you find, and this is pulled up on your calculator, the square root sign, obviously put in 53 and hit enter. What do you get? 7.3. So that's what's going to go in right here. So now you've got two equations. P equals 1 plus 7.3 divided by 2, and P equals 1 minus 7.3 divided by 2. Alright? So, in your calculator for this one right here, for the first one, you're going to hit parentheses. 1 plus 7.3.
Turn it by.
Hello.
Can you put your torch, please?
I've got one more I've got to fill.
Can we see it just to compare?
Yes.
Because we
And I,
gotta get it in today.
and I've got, and the one that I've got to fill is, and on here they're full, but I've got to, okay, he's doing grammar.
Okay, I'll mark them out.
So I've got somebody, I think I'm gonna ask Sarah Hogan if she would wanna do that. I don't know if she's doing anything, she's pretty good at it. Okay.
Okay, I'll ask her, I'll let you know.
Okay,
I'll get you this back so you
Okay.
can, too. I just need to, we need to compare.
okay. All right, then you're gonna close this parentheses. When you close that parentheses, then you hit the divide button. It should bring it up like this on your calculator. All right, and then 2. Tell me what you get. 4.5 or 4.2. All right. 4.15, and then it rounds it up to 2. All right. Now, for the bottom one, once again, you hit parentheses. 1 minus 7.3. Close the parentheses. Divided by 2. Tell me what you get. Negative 3.2. Here's one answer. Here's your second answer.
There's over, how you get
Yes. All right. Questions on 1? You good? All right, let's do 2. All right, number 2 says 9b squared plus 5 equals 0. All right, first step, is this in standard form? Well, it is, but what are we missing? Well, no, there's our constant, there's our variable right there, right? We're missing this middle term, right? So let's rewrite it and put it where the middle term's there, but we've got 9b squared plus 0b plus 5 equals 0. Now we see every term, right? Now every term's there. Okay, now let's label A, B, and C. So A is what? 9. B is what? 0. C is what? 5. All right? Third step, let's plug this into the quadratic formula. We've got, in this case, our variable is b, so b equals the opposite sign of b, which is 0, plus or minus the square root of 0 squared minus 4 times 9 times 5 all over 2 times 9. What are we going to work first? What's in the radical. Okay, so let's use the calculator. So we're going to put parentheses 0, close parentheses, squared, the subtraction button, another parentheses, 4, multiplication, 9, multiplication, 5, close parentheses, negative 180.
I got 180.
You hit. You got positive? How'd you get positive? I'm not sure. All right, so negative 180. So we can rewrite this now, and it can say b equals 0 plus or minus the square root of negative 180 all over 2 times 9 is 18. All right? Figure out the square root of negative 180. When you plug that in your calculator, what does it say?
13.4.
Ooh, make sure it's negative 180.
Hey, can you tell me where the 4 came from?
It's just in the quadratic formula.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Wait, John.
hit second, x squared,
You see that error?
error is what it should say.
Yeah, mine said error.
It should say error.
Oh, so you only have A and C in the problem? And B.
Well, B is just 0. We got error. Everyone should have gotten error. Why?
There's no solution.
Why?
It's a negative number.
We have a negative under the radical.
Yeah.
If whatever's under the radical, if our discriminant is negative, that means we have no real solutions. So if you get error on your calculator, sometimes you did it right still, and it's just, there's no answer. Alright, so I don't want you to think, the reason we did this was I don't want you to think every time you see error that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes you are doing it right. There's just no real solutions. Alright? What I want you to do for the rest of today, I want you to finish this worksheet. Alright, we're gonna take another test Monday or Tuesday. I don't know which one yet. Maybe it's probably Tuesday. Alright, we're gonna go over this again on Monday. We're gonna take a test on Tuesday on just the quadratic formula. We've got to know how to do the quadratic formula. Alright, you'll use this formula forever. So you've got to know how to use this and be able to plug values into this, and you've got to know how to use the calculator. Alright?